Welcome back, friends, to Course 9 in the massive open online course on mission transition. Our topic today is network identification. This is probably the shortest course in the MOOC, but perhaps one of the most important. This is likely a new topic to some of you, but one of the most important in this translation process and making your way to the real world. Our objectives today are to identify who our networking contacts are, and then to begin creating a networking target list. It's important that we understand the importance of networking, documenting our existing network, and develop a database that can be used as a target list as we're seeking potential opportunities in the civilian world. We're going to refer to Chapter 5 in Mission Transition. As always, be prepared with pen and paper and have access to the web so you can access my website. Speaking of which, on the website, there's additional templates that I'll refer to as we get in here. You're going to want to access and use. You'll find me on various social media platforms. And as always, it's helpful to take this course with a peer or a veteran that successfully maneuvered it in the past. Here's where we are in the process. We're going to document our network today and understand the importance of doing so. Start with a definition. Networking is the process of connecting with acquaintances to build mutually beneficial relationships. Sounds simple enough. Let me break it down just a little bit. The intent here is to convert mere acquaintances, mere people that we may know of, into something that constitutes a relationship, an ongoing back and forth with that individual. The other point I'll highlight is it's intended to be mutually beneficial. These aren't one way. Both individuals involved in this networking process are intended to benefit from it. Let me speak to overcoming negative perceptions. You've likely experienced over the course of your time in the military some negative nuances associated with networking. I'm using air quotes here. It's sometimes associated with sucking up and other such innuendo. Suffice to say, it does not take on positive connotations. In the real world, however, friends, networking is the way that the world works. Most roles landed successfully are due to referrals, and referrals are a direct result of networking. Networking occurs in various settings. It can be formal or informal. You can see the examples there. It can be as part of a group or one-on-one with an individual. It can be virtual or in person, and planned, or as we say, serendipitous. Say you're on a plane or on a train and whoever you're sitting next to. Those are unplanned or serendipitous occasions. It's also, again, a two-way street, mutually beneficial. It's intended to benefit both people engaging in the relationship. All right, I know this is a bit of an eye chart. I'm going to spend a bit of time on it. Fact is, this may be the first time in your life you've had to consider this thing called networking, but trust me, this is the first step to ensuring that your networking efforts are successful, and it's all about documenting that. So again, what are we talking about? We've already said networking is the act of building mutually beneficial relationships. The first step in doing so is to identify the relationships we already have and those we want to have. I would call these two sets of people friendlies and targets, which you can relate to coming from the military. Specifically, I'm referring to the orange and the purple dots on the page. The orange dots consist of people that come to mind when you ask, who do I know who could aid in my transition or future career? You can start with a simple brainstorm, but I'd suggest referencing alumni networking databases, LinkedIn groups, or one of many veteran transition organizations around the country. The purple dots represent people that come to mind when you ask, who do I need to get to know to enable a successful transition in future career? This could be hiring managers or other decision makers at companies that interest you. It could be fellow veterans that work at these companies. It could be alumni groups, civic organizations, or other professional societies. The image on the slide is a helpful way to organize this resulting list of names that become your initial network. Each slice of the pie represents a different aspect of your life, and this is going to be different for every single person, but the slices, if you will, that I show here tend to be the typical ones most veterans have. Now, you can slice that pie in as many pieces as you want and as much detail as you want. The circles on the page, the concentric circles, they represent the relative strength of your relationships. The center circle is for those relationships you have which are strongest. These are the people you know well, people who will automatically respond to you if you send them a text or try to reach them on the phone. These are the kinds of people you call when you have a problem. These are your battle buddies, your pals, people who you've shed blood, sweat, and tears with. Relationships on the two outer concentric circles are less strong. The secondary circle represents people that know us, but with whom we don't always keep in touch. Say somebody you served in the same unit with, or but you weren't great friends with. Some in this group are going to be friendlies, but some are going to be targets. The third circle represents relationships that are just being developed. You likely don't know these people. They're friends of friends, and all of them are networking targets. So once you've mapped this network, it has to become an evergreen document, and you should do your favor and always keep it updated. And the next step, I'll talk more about that in a moment. The next step is obviously to build a plan to leverage the friendlies on this page to engage with your targets. In doing so, the dots on the map are going to move closer to the center and may eventually change from purple to orange. We're going to talk more about that process in our next course. Now, once you've identified those folks, you need a way to organize and maintain that list. And so I highly encourage you to create and maintain a database. You see an example below. It's a template you can find and download off of my website. You want to update it after every single interaction. You can see some of the columns here refer to the dates of meetings, notes and outcomes from the meetings, addressing any action items that might come out of those meetings. And it's something, again, to be updated, maintained, and kept evergreen, if you will, at all times. All right, friends, so I told you it was a short course. Here it is. Here's your homework to create your network organization chart and use that database to begin populating who is in your network, both friendlies and targets. And as you begin to engage with these folks, again, I'm referring to the follow-on course here, keep it updated, keep it evergreen. Again, refer to the book for perspective on folks that have been through this and have successfully utilized this approach. You're going to see a lot more detail on this topic, as is the case in every single course. You're also going to find additional guidance for those among us that have greater tenure and additional resources to support your entire transition. Some words to the wise: do not skip this step. Do not let the negative connotations you have from networking coming from the military to cloud your view of the importance of this. As you'll note in the book, in Troops in the Trenches, it's likely one of the most important aspects of your transition. It is a skill you need to develop, a skill you need to master, and a skill that's going to benefit you in the long term here. Make sure you organize your network contact list as we just walked through, utilizing the database. Review and refresh it as you begin network and engaging with people on that list. Make sure you follow up with the action items. We'll talk more about that in the next course. Leverage your friendlies for engaging with the targets. Again, all part of the reason for why and how we network. Additional resources, you see many of them here, and as I've always mentioned, folks, you'll find these on my website as well. I'll just note that I try to keep these updated, and some of the technology and resources out there have continued to evolve since I first wrote the book. I'll refer to one of those at the bottom of the page here, Prism Networking, that has a database that enables you to do everything I'm talking about, but do it in an online, more interactive, semi-automated fashion. Here's how you can contact me via my website. And as we always do, and with the bonus video here, want to make sure that as we begin to talk about networking, part of what you will encounter is something called the Sea of Goodwill. The former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Admiral Mullen, coined this term to refer to the thousands, I believe the number is now up north of 46,000 veteran service organizations, which tend to be nonprofits, a lot of goodwill, a lot of good intent, but none of it coordinated and provided to you at a point in time, place that you need it. What does exist out there that will enable you to successfully do that are what are called veteran collaboratives. And I can't speak more highly about them or their mission. I'll let the video speak for itself. Here we go.
I'm getting ready to leave the military, and I found there are thousands of service organizations supporting veterans. How do I find the one that will help me prepare for a job outside of the military?
Oh yeah, there are literally tens of thousands of veteran service organizations in existence around the country offering support in some way, shape, or form. The Sea of Goodwill, as we call it, consists of lots of well-intentioned people with a lot of funding. but they don't always coordinate and collaborate to effectively and efficiently meet your needs. As a result, several organizations founded on a collaborative business model have arisen in recent years that do address those needs. These organizations are called veteran collaboratives, which tend to be nonprofit organizations based in communities all around the country. Think of these veteran collaboratives as your one-stop, that place where you had all of your needs taken care of while transitioning from base to base or post to post within the service. Your housing, your clothing, your health care, your travel claims, what have you. These are organizations through which you can access all the needed services in your new community, and they can connect you with providers of services to effectively meet your needs. Here's one example. I live in Cincinnati and I serve on the board of our local veteran collaborative that's called the Tri-State Veteran Community Alliance, or TVCA. If I'm a veteran that's new to the community, TVCA takes an inventory of my needs, provides a subset of the services I need through the veteran services organizations that can most effectively meet them. It's a critically needed service that the government can't provide. You'll find a list of these veteran collaboratives on my website and more about how to use them in my book.
All right, friends, please do take advantage of those veteran collaboratives. They will be one of the more important support mechanisms in your transition. Thanks, and we'll look forward to having you back next time when we'll talk about engaging the network. Take care.